Hello, hello, hello.
What's going on?
What's up? Not much. Just dealing with the lifestyle of life. Welcome back. Welcome back to You Know I Break the Rules and How I Play Too Much. It's about the Excuse Me Brother podcast. And I am technically the host. Don't really care enough to be a host. It's Brother Tay. And with me, as always, it's the best there always will be.
Producer Jay.
The Bret Hart of podcasting.
I'd like to think of myself more as Shawn Michaels, if I do say so myself.
Not dramatic enough. You're not. You gotta get to my level of dramatic.
I gotta say, I lost my smile. And quit the show for like 3 months.
No, then that's just now you're just being Brother Jay at that point.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
And he's not. Brother Jay is incapacitated. He busy.
Yeah, he busy.
He got family stuff to do with.
As we all do.
So we have
happens.
some more than others.
Fair enough.
I don't have a family. I was raised by wolves.
That's to say, where were you last week? Weren't you with the family?
The wolves, yes.
The wolves.
Yeah, the wolves.
It beats like that.
I was with the wolves.
So how you been, Tay?
They didn't. Pretty great, actually. Tired, but that's normal for me.
I feel you.
Honestly.
This week has been kind of rough on me. I felt like I had no rest at all. Like, it was constant moving around, planning stuff, figuring things out. And it's just...
It happens a lot, actually.
Yeah, I know. And then to top it all off, I was frustrated as hell. You were talking about wrestling earlier. Freaking WrestleMania happened this weekend, and I went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
To the lowest of lows.
In terms of my excitement for wrestling, and it was a nightmare.
You were all so excited about like the first day. And then so the second day, and then all I got was messages. All I saw was everyone just pissed, and I was like,
It was not
chaos.
Good. It was not good.
But then more news came out to make me more upset about a returning person. So I'm sure that also made you upset.
It was just like I was riding high on like night one. So WrestleMania was 2 nights, which I normally enjoy because it makes it less of a hassle or a slog to go through. Because I went to WrestleMania, was it 2019? Yeah, because it was the year before the pandemic. And
Is that MetLife?
Yeah, and that shit was like 7 hours or some shit like that. And it was a lot, and I was like falling asleep like halfway through. And I was there, like, can you imagine? Like, you have the freaking roar of the crowd, and you're like fighting sleepness.
Like this not about to be hella great.
Yeah. So, I like that they split it into 2 nights to make it much more easily digestible. But the only problem with that is that there's gonna be one night that's better than the other, you know? So
yeah, but honestly, you're just saying that now because because the main event did not go the way you really wanted it to go.
No, well, okay, so yes and no. I feel like ever since they started the whole 2-night thing, there's always been a clear winner. And I mean, they only started it it was last year, right? Or was it the year before? No, it was last year.
I think it's been 2 years. I think it's last year.
I don't know. Whenever they started it.
Was it 2 years? Because I think that's when, based on what I've seen on Instagram, apparently, I think it's Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
She's been undefeated. She's been undefeated in WrestleMania.
Yes. Yeah.
I think she's main evented like almost every day, night one, so far, except for like this year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, so then maybe it was last year. Anyway, whenever they started it, I felt like night 1 was always better than night 2. I don't know, for whatever, maybe it's just me, but I always felt like night 1 was better match-wise, like quality or whatever.
That's wild. Mm-hmm.
And this year was no different. So it's like, that's the only problem I have with the 2-night thing, is that like you set the high expectation for night 1, but then night 2 comes and you're just like, okay, is it going to be as good as night 1? And in my opinion, it hasn't been. Bless you.
Sorry. Allergies is a bitch.
It's that time of year. But anyway, so
I hate this time of year.
yeah, so my whole thing was that like I felt like they front loaded at least the weekend with the more popular matches. Although night 2 definitely had the match of the weekend with the triple threat.
How for you? Yeah.
That was chef's kiss.
I've seen. I heard no one complain about that. Everyone loves how hard hitting it was.
It got a standing ovation in the arena.
Because it was beautiful.
It was.
I understand.
I
understand.
But yeah, so then like after that, I felt like it kind of started to go downhill. And then obviously the main event happened, and
no one was happy about it.
No,
it's on Twitter.
Nope, not a single person. Everybody. Well, I'm sure there were some freaking.
I'm sure there was
trolls or whatever.
There's always some that's always gonna be happy.
Yeah. So
when the status quo doesn't happen that everybody wanted.
Yeah, they were you believe that they were gonna do what you wanted to do, but nope. So anyway, that happened.
You fools.
Yeah, I know. Fool. I'm a fool for believing that it would have actually good storytelling. But anyway, so then that happens. So that's like it starts the whole like downward trend. Then, well, actually, before that, it came out that, or it was heavily rumored at the time that WWE was bought finally, because they were talking about being purchased or acquired or whatever for like months now, and they actually were being bought by Endeavor, which is the owner of the UFC.
The parent. Yep, the parent company of UFC.
So,
which
when I first heard that, I was like, I didn't even know how to feel about that. Like, what does this mean? Like, is it gonna be? They're gonna not cancel, but they're gonna be like more like UFC, or I don't know. There was just a lot of questions. And
I'll tell you the truth, I don't know, and I'm sure they'll think of something.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, based on what happened on Monday, it's gonna be fine, or not gonna be fine, but it's gonna be same old. You know, nothing really changes.
Nothing, not too crazy.
Yeah. So then that happens, and or the next night on Monday, it gets confirmed that it's happening. Like, it's for real. Like, it's
it's been bought.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I tell you the truth, I actually knew about it because when I was in North Carolina, my brother at the time was listening to his one of his stalking shows.
Right.
So he was learning about stocks and business purchases, and that was one of the things that showed up was that WWE was bought.
It showed up on when? On Monday?
Yeah, it showed up like Monday morning.
Oh, sure.
It was talking about it like Monday morning, so I already knew about it way before.
Damn.
It was, and I remember, and me and my brother were talking about it. They're like, I was like, could be. And I was like, it doesn't really hurt the stocks to sell.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when I landed in New York, then I got the other news about like Vince McMahon being back in charge.
And then,
and I was like,
then that happened.
I know people are gonna be pissed.
And that kind of just like,
hey.
It sent like Twitter in a frenzy, just social media in general, because I saw it everywhere.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is gonna get people angry.
Absolutely, it got a lot of people angry, and rightfully so, because people kind of had hope for the product under like Triple H, because he took over when Vince left, and I felt like we were.
It was starting to.
Just not.
It was starting to make sense.
Yeah, it felt like
I'm not gonna lie to
we were-
you. The shows would make everything was making sense
Exactly.
as a person as I'm seeing.
exactly
I'm like, okay, this makes sense. All right, that makes sense. I guess
things were starting to come together for a change, and they weren't going like week to week just booking whatever and then getting to the pay-per-view and being like, oh yeah, this match is happening. Like, no, it felt like stories were kind of being built, and I
making all the people happy.
yeah, I mean, granted, it wasn't 100% like great. There was some missteps or whatever, but
There's always missteps everywhere.
yeah, for the most part, it was a lot better than what it has been for like years. So yeah, then Vince is coming back, and then the whole thing is that he was actually like back, not just like back in the company. He was like running the show again.
Yeah, he was. Apparently, he was making decisions.
Yeah, like tearing up the script and changing everything.
Which I can't. I'm not gonna lie to you, as a former writer and you're a producer,
right?
So you already know. I'm also, before we got to this show, I was also a producer, and I used to write for other stuff.
Yeah,
I fucking hate it, yo. As a person, if we wrote something together and someone's like, no, this just don't work, and destroys it,
yo,
it makes me so upset.
I would be livid.
It burns my core.
And that's one of the things where I'm glad, like, for the most part, we all are kind of on the same page, like you, me, and Jay. So it makes it a little bit easier to do stuff. But like, imagine if freaking Jason, like, in the middle of this show, we're recording, and he's like, "Nah, change the topic. I don't want to do this anymore." It's like, what?
Jesus, I don't do this no more. I mean, as behind the scenes, that was like on the episode that didn't get released.
Oh well, yeah, it did happen one time, like last year, actually, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you were there for that one, but like, it was so bad.
Oh well, then maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
I mean, there was also we had ones before it. I don't think none of it would be as bad as if I tell Jason the one I'm thinking of, he'll definitely be like, yeah, that was a show where me and him were really at each other.
Yeah, no, that
like more than usual.
Yeah, no.
To give you more of how bad it really was, it was one of those where we were really at each other more than normal when we normally.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing though. Like, imagine that, but like throughout the whole show, and like
no, I would kill you.
Things are just like constantly changing and being rewritten and even cut altogether. It's like, how do you even do that? Like, how can you manage a company like that, or a show rather? I mean, granted, they do that stuff all the time in like business and stuff like that, but for television, that's insane.
Not that efficiently. It's not efficient. It happens as a person. You once you work in a certain place for a while, you get used to it, but it's not something you should. This is not something you should be happy about. Like, this is not the stress you want.
No, this should not be normal, and that's the sad part is that it for a long time it was normal, and the fact that he came back and is basically making it normal again is what everybody's upset about. And then not only that, but I don't know. Have you seen his freaking pencil mustache?
I have. It's hilarious to me. I love it. What are you talking about?
He looks like
it's fucking awesome.
What's his name? Gomez from the Addams Family.
From the Addams Family. Yeah. He looks like he's part of the Addams Family. Yeah. He looks like he's the grandfather. It's fucking great.
It's crazy. I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know who told him that was a good look, but they need to not tell him that shit.
No matter who told him, it's great. It's just it's the best thing ever.
But yeah, so that's just been eating at me this whole week. I've been wanting to like kind of air my grievances about that. So
I'm glad we got grind your gears out the way.
Right? I know. We just started off with a grind your gears.
So glad it's out your system. I landed. I'm tell you the truth, I'm still exhausted from landing.
Really? When did you get back? You got back Monday, right?
I landed technically I landed Tuesday because I landed at midnight.
Okay.
So I landed on Tuesday, went straight home. My roommate was very lovely enough. She picked me up from the airport, drove me home. Got home like at 12:20. Really went straight to bed because I had to work in the morning.
Damn, you couldn't even like get any type of rest.
Well, I decided to call out. I was like, I need to do something because I had like, I was, I'm gonna say appointed. I was gonna say rewarded, but it's not rewarded because I ain't one. It's not a reward to me at all. I was appointed like head of like 4 different committees for my job right now.
Okay.
And we had like meetings back to back. So I had to like schedule these like 3 meetings for this week. I have another, I'd have to be ahead of another meeting next week. And then I got another meeting. I have like 3 meetings in these next few weeks that I'm like head of.
Damn.
So it's like back to back to back. So I was like, I can't really not. Like, I got to go to work on Tuesday so I can finalize everything. Lucky enough, the ironic part is I was spamming about finalizing it. The weird part is I finalized it before I left. Everything was already dedicated. People just wanted to meet with me to make sure we were still on the same page. Which, honestly, I didn't care because when I got back on Tuesday, I heard that I got some gossip about my job, and oof, I was like, none of y'all recorded? I'm so upset with y'all. How could you do this to me? Y'all know I love the gossip.
Workplace gossip is
I'm not part of that. Just when absolutely. Like when I got back, my coworker, one of my friend coworkers, she was like, Tashawn, me and this other person got into an argument, and then this person and another person got into an argument. It's like a 3-way argument, and I'm like, oh, did you record?
Right? I need excerpts.
Well, and then because I work, and also since I work in a apartment building, I work with tenants. Apparently, a tenant fought a security guard over the weekend when I was away, and I was like, "What
the hell?"
And there's no footage.
There's no cameras around here, like that we could.
There are cameras. There's cameras that, like, and my supervisor, he's like, I looked through the footage, and I was like, "You bitch!"
It's like, how dare you withhold that information from me?
How dare you not show me the footage? I want to see. And then like it's all been thing, and then I don't know if you can see it, but I sliced my thumb.
Oh shoot!
On Wednesday. So there's like, it's not too bad. If you look at your thumb, you see the nail.
Right. I
cut from end the nail all the way through the flesh, like straight. So it's just a giant black line through my thumb right now. It's not too bad. I've had worse injuries.
That happened to me the other day where, like, literally I was just cleaning out something because in my hospital, I guess one of the doctors was, like, leaving or whatever, so he had to empty out his office. And there was just a bunch of, like, stuff, like office supplies in, like, a container or whatever. And I was taking them out because, I mean, I could have just dumped the whole thing, but I wanted to go through it because sometimes you see shit that take for yourself.
Absolutely.
But
also,
I mean,
since it's not a HIPAA violation, you can go tell your story to your wife.
But anyway, so like I was digging through and I got poked, and it just felt like a little poke. Like I was like, oh, what the hell? And I pull my hand out and I see blood running down my hand. I'm like, what? So like I was panicking because I was like, I need to find a first aid station, but there was none around, obviously. So I had to go freaking on a whole different floor. I had to go to the elevator, like holding my hand, trying to cradle it while there's other patients going around. Like, I'm fine. Don't worry. It's okay. And then I had to get a Band-Aid and then clean it up.
Did you find out what poked you?
I have no idea. I think it was some staples.
Motherfucker, I tetanus shot.
Honestly, that was in the back of my mind. I was like, I hope this is just like simple enough that I could just clean it out and put a Band-Aid. I hope it's nothing like bad.
I would have went straight back to see what it was.
Well, I don't know because I was panicking at the time.
No, me personally, I want you to know. I think the funniest thing is when I sliced my thumb. I didn't scream because I was in my office. I literally was like, I cut it and I was like, that's gonna bleed. So I literally put my thumb in my mouth and I was just like, I just started humming because I had to find the first aid kit. No one, like, I'm by myself in the office because everyone else is busy. No one hears me, and I'm just like,
well, at least you were by yourself, so you could like handle it on your own or whatever.
Yeah,
I was with my coworker,
cleaned it.
and my coworker. Well, I was actually with 2 of my coworkers, So I got poked,
Useless.
and I pulled my hand back, and they saw the blood too, and he's like, "Oh, he's going home." I'm like, "No, I just need to clean it out."
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd have been like, yo, run this like wild distance.
I could have guessed it. I could have been like, I don't know. I need
You
to
could've, like,
check this out. I need to go to OHS to see what they say.
Like I was cleaning out. I don't know who put the metal in there. I know it was metal. I could get tetanus. I was like, we don't even know if it could be a needle.
Well,
I would have dragged this shit out of this. I'm not gonna lie.
I could have, but
Personally, you remember? Look, I dragged the shit out of it when I got hurt at Target. What you thought this was? I think I hurt my knee one day on the ladder. Man, I was robbing that shit for the whole day. Like, I would climb that ladder, but like, the way to see the way my knee feels right now, can't do it,
I
bro.
feel like deep down, I kind of want. I mean, I don't want to sound like a masochist, but like, I kind of want that to happen just so I have the excuse. You know?
It's not masochist. That's just you That's just you not wanting to work.
No,
That's
because
not masochism
when
at all.
I started the job, so I started like early 2020, right before COVID hit, and that was when like all the precautions were being taken, like being implemented, and apparently I did get COVID. I found out later after the fact, but I didn't know because tests were like very scarce, so I couldn't just get tested like I can today. It's like, oh, I got it, whatever. So like I was sick and I was coughing, but I was like, do I say that I'm worried about it, or do I tell? Like I was just very like weird about that because I didn't know there was no protocol. They were even telling me like, we can only go based on how you feel. And honestly, I probably should have been like, yeah, I don't think I should be here right now. And to be fair, I probably got a bunch of people sick in the process because I was coughing a lot.
You work in the hospital. You fucking up.
Listen, it was early COVID. We didn't know any better. Or at least I didn't.
You didn't.
I don't need your
I think I caught
commentary.
COVID 3 times.
Natalie.
That's what I'm talking about.
Natalie's coming after me because I got COVID. I got everybody sick around me.
Nah, you're not patient zero because I think I had COVID in January.
Oh, so see.
Because like on New Year's, there's a thing that goes on for the past 8 years now. If I'm one New Year's I'm not sick, and then next New Year's I'm sick as a fuck.
I remember you were saying that in one of the episodes before.
Yeah, so I think literally 2020 January I had like the weirdest cold because it wasn't the flu because I didn't have a fever or anything like that, but I couldn't breathe as I was acting up and everything, and then like it went away after a week, and then literally 2 months later they were talking about this, and I was like, that sounds like what I had in January.
That's the thing. A lot of people.
And my roommate looked at me. He's like, you know what? Yeah, that actually does sound like a lot what you had in January. And he's like, you had COVID in this house.
No, the thing is, like right before I got sick. So the thing is with me, I don't know if it's you feel this too, but I know when I'm gonna get sick. Like literally, like the day before, the night before, I feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be sick tomorrow. And I just know, and it always happens. So like the day before, I had felt like, a little tickle in my chest. I felt like kind of lightheaded or whatever. I felt like, okay, I'm starting to feel sickness. And that's when like all the murmurs about COVID. Like, I mean, granted, they were talking about it since like what, November, December, the year before.
Yeah, they were talking. Yeah.
So it was already in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, they're talking about this is like a new thing. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm just regular sick. Like it's just a cold. But at the same time, I was also like, maybe I'm actually like, I got COVID. Like maybe. And the crazy part is
airborne.
I was babysitting at the time. So
Natalie.
No.
Natalie.
Funny enough, this was actually before I met her too. So that was the crazy thing.
Natalie.
So I was babysitting my cousin's son, and he was just a baby. And because I know it sounds terrible, but I was babysitting, but because I felt it, I knew I was like, okay, let me kind of like distance myself. And at least I wasn't coughing at the time, so at least that I had that to like fall back on. So I was just like, let me just stay away. I'm watching him, but I'm not gonna like touch him or pick him up or whatever. At least not if I didn't have to, rather.
Man.
And then I told my cousin after the fact that he was like, yeah, I could tell. I like Lysoled everything after you left. So he knew. I mean, he also works in the hospital, so he knew. But I wish you would have told me. I wish you would have told me, because then I would have been like taking more precaution. But it is what it is.
He looked at you from the side like, he acting different. I seen that look before. That's a cold look. Get the Lysol. What's going on?
And then the funny thing is like, I wasn't anti-COVID, but I was I was taking the information as it came out. And
I mean, at least
based on the information, it wasn't really spreading as fast, at least in the beginning. So
yes.
I guess maybe you can say I was a little bit more like hopeful that it wasn't as big of a deal as it turned out to be.
Yes, it's okay. I understand. I was also like that as well. I was really hoping it was just like a cold that would just go away.
So like,
and then like
everybody was coming after me and saying like, oh, you need to take it more serious. You need to take precaution, whatever. And like, even in the group chat, like I don't know if you would know. I don't think you were there at the time. In the group chat, we were like going at it about like what's going on and like the hospitalization rates and all that stuff. And I was I wasn't downplaying it, but I was trying to be like rational about it. I was like, okay, it's rising, but it's still not rising at the rate that it should be alarmed. Like, I was trying to be like rational about it, but
you was trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much.
You were blindly optimistic and it didn't work. It's okay.
Which
because I went out on my birthday before the last week before COVID, so I was not helping nobody.
So you were taking advantage, be like, listen, actually, I did that too. me and Natalie, because we were like just starting to like talk to each other. Like, well, we were like dating, I guess, because we weren't official yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hate this.
Literally the day before everything shut down, because they said they were gonna shut it down, we went to the movies. Thankfully, it was late at night, so there wasn't anybody there. But still,
I think I went to Dave and Buster's.
We were not helping.
Nope. But once I did as best as I can. I did have a mask on. I had a mask on because I was like, just in case.
I probably should have done that at least.
I was playing devil's advocate. I was like, hopefully it doesn't get as bad, but just in case.
And
I mean, at least you're not Jason. I swear to God.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother situation.
It's just every time. The worst part was like when we were recording in like Brooklyn in the studio.
Yeah.
Every time we had to leave, we couldn't go certain places because of him. I was like in my brain, I'm like, yo, why are you doing this? Like, come on.
But
like, I'm not I'm not normally selfish, but like now you're making me selfish and now I'm pissed.
I remember we had a conversation because like we were going, this was when things started to like kind of open up, because they were shut down for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, it depends on if you New York City wise, it was like, okay, we're entering phase 1.
Yeah.
Of reopening.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's like, are we gonna go to phase 2? And everyone's like, no. What you thought this was? New York City was not playing around. They're like, we're gonna be on phase 1 until I say so. I don't give a fuck what Tennessee's doing. Fuck Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
Ironically, I flew out to Florida during that time too. That's
everything
crazy.
That New York was doing, Florida did the opposite. It was like freaking a frenzy over there, or a war zone.
I know. I went to Miami during that time. It's fantastic.
Playing with fire. That's what you were doing?
I forgot why we went to Miami though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it was someone's birthday. I spent like 3 days in Miami, Florida.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went down there and I forgot how much fun it was not to be in pandemic mode. So much fun that I almost missed my flight back to New York that weekend.
Well,
All three
to
of
be
us.
fair,
All three of my
to
bros.
be fair, I also made a trip to Ohio like right before the shutdown. So, because I had to. It wasn't that I had
I'd rather
to.
go to Florida.
I went because. So I mean, I haven't spoke about this on the podcast. So
Let's go. New
my
stories.
kids-
And Brother Jay.
my kids' mother lives in Ohio. I moved there for a
Gross.
while. I mean, you know the story, but for people listening, I moved to Ohio for a while and then I came back because things didn't work out.
Gross.
But she still lives there, and she was with the kids at the
Gross.
time. So she was going away somewhere. I think this was before, like, because I think it was just certain states were kind of shutting down, but not entirely. It wasn't until like mid to late March that they shut everything down, like everything nationwide. So this was like, I want to say late February, early March, something like, I don't know. But so she was going somewhere, but she didn't have anybody to watch the kids for her. So I flew to Ohio to watch them, to be with them for like a week. And that's like when like everything started to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And it was bad.
How did you get back to? You stayed in New York, then you stayed in Ohio the entire time. Then did you? Or did you fly back to New York?
I got back like right before, maybe like a week or two before.
You really playing with fire.
I know. Thinking about it now, that was such a close call. Because if they shut everything down, I would have been stuck in Ohio.
Yeah, unless you're trying to get a car
and just drive. I could have done that. Honestly, yeah, I've done that before.
You could have. Yeah, but like, say you weren't getting that rental car back to them anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, yo, can I borrow this? Can I borrow this like for a day? Like, yeah. They're calling you like, sir, we need that car back. You ain't getting it back.
I'm pretty sure they have like things where you could just drop it off in another state, if it's the same company, right?
Probably.
Well, they would have to figure something out because I wasn't gonna stay in Ohio. That's for sure. But I like driving, so it probably would have worked out anyway.
I'm happy you like driving. I had to drive. I'm not gonna lie. Having this new license now, driving all over the place is fun.
What was the longest trip you ever taken?
Driven wise, or that I drove?
Yeah, that you drove.
I've not driven any trips.
Really?
Yet.
You should.
I think the longest I ever driven is literally this weekend when I went to North Carolina.
You drove there?
No, we flew there. Me and my friend flew there, and I stayed with my brother at his new house with his 3 kids and his wife.
Okay.
Which was by far I went before we get into
that. I remember.
Beautiful. I will tell you about that in a minute. But when we were there, I'm not sure which is, but me and my friend, we rented a car from the airport. We drove to that house. The house is like 20 minutes away from the airport on the highway and stuff. Switchback place. We drove to some North Carolina local Dave and Buster's. That's pretty much an arcade with a diner, and then they have mini golf and go-karts and a bowling alley.
Oh shit!
If honestly, it's probably better than Dave and Buster's. Honestly, I'm gonna hold you.
What was it called?
It's like Frankie's or something like that. I think Frankie's.
Oh shit!
I don't know. A lot of it was mad fun. They're bowling. They don't charge you by the game. They charge you by the hour. And they're like, how much? Like, you want to play for 2 hours? I bet that's $60 because it's $30 an hour.
Honestly, that's not bad.
I know. I was like 2 hours worth of bowling. I could do it. Especially with the right amount of people, you get it done. And then when I was in South Carolina, honestly, driving in other states that's not in New York, 10 times easier. Honestly.
Of course, 1000%.
Like, the only thing I didn't like about I don't like about South Carolina driving wise was that every turn was a freeway.
Wow.
So So as you hit one turn, it's like speed limit is 40 miles per hour. Like, well, looks like I'm on it.
Have you driven in Pennsylvania before?
Not yet. I plan to. When me and my bro probably go to his house again in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So I'll probably be driving in Pennsylvania at that point again.
So depending on how deep he is in Pennsylvania, like that shit is like it'll get you dizzy because there's so much like turns and like mountains and shit. It's
He lives close to the Poconos.
well, I guess that's further up. I don't know. I've never done that.
He's a little. If you drive to the Poconos, you'll pass it. He's a few, maybe. He's a couple of. I'm not sure how many exits, but he's close by it.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a resort called the Kalahari?
No.
In Pennsylvania?
I've literally I've
it's
only
actually-
been like the only time I've been through or to Pennsylvania is driving through because that's like how I do whenever I drive to Ohio. So
Yeah.
that's literally the only time I've ever been.
I want you. If you go out there, if you want to like have a resort vacation, Kalahari is very nice. It's a very big resort. Has a water park and an arcade for the
That
kids.
sounds familiar. Maybe I've heard of it.
Honestly, it's racist.
Why?
It's kind of racist because it's African. It's an African based like safari resort. Shit's terribly racist.
What?
Shit's terrible. Like it's the rooms. Like when you walk through, it's giant hallways. Like there's a lot of rooms. There's like a lot of floors too. There's so much shit. The rooms are mad spacey. When you go into the hallways, they got like it's painted like it's supposed to be this safari. And like you have pictures of like things all over the place.
Damn.
When I first entered, I was like, "This doesn't feel comfortable."
I
Something
feel
about this.
wrong being here.
But I went there for the reason I went there was my friend's cosplay. So that we go to conventions together.
Okay.
So we went to a convention in Kalahari. Like I said, the water park is nice. The arcade is very nice. As soon as you walk in the door, you just see African things. You're just like, something's not right. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I don't feel comfortable.
It's never a good sign.
And then when we entered the room, because it was like a guy's room and a girl's room, we had two rooms.
Right.
Literally, the wall was painted like trees, and there was like pictures of lions.
Like, what do you think the freaking like Africa is just that's all it is? Well, you didn't say it was.
I don't know. It was just my brain was like, I can't do this.
Stereotyping.
Yeah.
No,
Just
I
go
was
back.
gonna say, I don't know if this is bad to say, but like, imagine they had like people like with the freaking.
I would sue.
Oh
I
man,
would sue so fast.
that would be terrible.
I'm suing for my nation. I don't know if I'm suing for us as a race. Oh, okay. We're doing a class action lawsuit.
Hell yeah!
It's bad enough that the staff like were dressed like
Wait, the staff were dressed up.
Steve. This Steve was just like Steve. Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin,
Crocodile.
Crocodile
Yeah,
Hunter.
the Crocodile Hunter.
Oh my god.
They all like had like the cargo shorts and everything. I'm like, this is not necessary. Like none of this is needed.
You said it was like a water park, right?
There's a water park in there. It's a giant water park too. Like it's giant for like what you expect. Because when you go in, you're like, oh, there's gonna be like just a little thing like for pools and stuff. Like no, they got like little like lazy river. They got like 4 water slides. This shit is huge, and you're just like something is just not right. And the arcade is as big as Dave and Buster's in New York. I'm not gonna lie.
And I bet you there was mad like white people there.
What you think? It's Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's not This is nature. This is like Outback, Pennsylvania. This is not Philadelphia.
No Fresh Princes
You
here.
crazy? No. To go back to finish it. Yeah. Well, tell you the truth, the only thing I didn't like about North Carolina roads, too narrow.
Too narrow.
They really don't. You know, like how New York has a sidewalk, but the road is like wide. Nah, like imagine like Manhattan streets,
Oh damn.
but no sidewalks. Nature.
Damn.
These to like and these turns are hard. These turns are rough.
I think I've so the longest I've ever driven, I've driven to like Florida. I drove to Orlando, or maybe it was like close to Orlando. So probably like one of the outskirts of Orlando. And
part of the cast, maybe some shit like that.
yeah, but that was tough because like the thing is like and I don't know how every time I do like a long distance trip, I always end up driving the most.
The most.
So it's like every time because I have to do like trips to Ohio well before it was every 3 months now or every 6 months rather. Now it's every year because they go with my kids go with their mom for the summer. So I have to do it to pick them up because that's like the arrangement that we have. And I feel like every time, or not every time, most of the time, I'm doing the bulk of the driving. So, and there was one time, so when I went to Florida, I drove there. No. My dad drove halfway there. And then he said he's starting to get tired because we left that night. And then I drove the other half. But then coming back, I drove the whole way. And I was like, how did this happen? How did I get duped into driving?
I want you to know, I can't feel bad for you because you probably didn't say nothing.
I didn't. I probably should have,
Yeah,
but I didn't.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing I got on my bro about when we went to North Carolina. And he was driving on the highway. And I was right there. I took a nap in the car, so if he wanted to switch, we'd be ready.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm looking at him, just waiting for the word. And he's like, "Nah, I got this." And I was like, "All right." And I don't. And then so as we was done, he was like, "I'm exhausted from driving all the time." I was like, "You could have switched. I was right there."
Right. But it's just one of those things like you just want to get through it because like I just want to be home. I don't want to stop. I don't want to waste time. Whatever. And I think that's what I went through. I was just like, let me just power through. Luckily, like I wasn't tired. It was just you gotta like do stuff to like, I don't know, keep yourself.
I can't imagine what time it is because I figured now at this point most cars got cruise control.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't pressing down on the pedal the whole time. Because when we did that, we rented a car. We rented like a big van because it was like a family thing.
Okay. Because I'm like, I want you to know right now, I don't know how those people did those long rides without just holding the pedal.
Nah.
Just imagining now makes my knee hurt.
Yeah, no. Not only that, but like to maintain your speed, because like, I don't know if you've done it, but if there's an open road, I'm going freaking like 90 to 100.
Oh, trust me, someone that's been in it since South Carolina. I got an open road. I was like,
absolutely.
And the worst, my grandfather was like, "You're not going fast enough." I'm like, "I'm going 80."
Right? Like, damn.
I was like, "I don't know how fast you want me to go," and he's like, "Oh, you going 80? Slow down. The speed limit is like 60." I was like,
"I don't see no cops.
It's too late now."
No, it's funny. Actually, my cousin had gotten, he got a ticket for that because it was Virginia.
No, of course.
He was driving in Virginia and he got pulled over. He was doing like 95 and a 70. Yeah, it was.
He was in Virginia. That's why I want you to know. Once you pass Virginia, you can speed all you want. At that point,
yeah, they don't care.
They don't care.
But yeah, so he
got
stopped.
I didn't see.
Good.
No, it's just crazy. Florida's the worst place to be in because their speed limit on the highway is 80 miles per hour.
Really?
They're just asking for absolutely.
Oh, shit, maybe I just didn't pay attention.
I think we were driving when you're driving because when I went to Florida for another time, right after again during the pandemic, actually it's crazy.
You just going crazy in Florida.
Apparently, it was me. We drove to Florida. It was me and two friends. I had my girlfriend at the time, her sister, and my bro.
Yeah.
I went to North Carolina with. We flew out to Florida, flew to Orlando. We were going to visit one of my best friends that lived in Miami because he went to school in Miami. So we left from Orlando to Miami. It was like a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
With traffic, which is when we got on the highway because he was driving. My friend was driving. He literally with like speed limit is 80 miles per hour, and then would go to 75 in some places. I was like, why make it 75?
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Just keep it the death rule that you want it to be. It's already death.
Right. Like, what's the difference of freaking 5 miles per hour? Like, what's...
Death is death. If we get hit, We hit something at 80 and it's still death. We hit something at 75.
Exactly.
Still death.
It's just as dangerous.
So before we go, I want to bring this up because my favorite part of this trip, rather than what we did, which I'll probably tell you about next week when Brother Jay's here, because you probably want to hear more. I don't mind talking about it. My favorite thing was staying in my brother's house. I want you to remember this. Out of my cousins and brothers, I'm the nice one.
Really?
Yes. So remember this, and like, just think of all the insults I've said to you and Jason and everyone.
That's the nice.
I'm the nice sibling.
The nice version.
I'm the nice version.
Okay.
And my friend James learned about it this weekend.
What happened?
Oh, he was abused. He was bullied in the house for 4 days.
Oh man.
Just 4 days straight of just bullying. As soon as he landed, we got to the house because my brother was working and the kids were at school because we landed on Thursday.
Okay.
We landed Thursday morning. We was in the house at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. No, much earlier than that. I'm sorry. But we was in the house and like my brother's wife, which now at this point is my cousin, so I'm just gonna call her my cousin.
Okay.
Wait. When we
Your
landed,
brother's
she's not
wife?
My sister-in-law.
Why you call her a cousin?
Because she's just like my mother.
Okay.
You want the honest truth? She's just like my mother. So at this point, she's
you
my
might
family.
as well call her your cousin. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna call her my sister. I have 2 sisters. That's enough.
You don't need any more.
Yeah.
All right.
So as soon as we landed, she was asking questions. He said one thing wrong, and from that point, it was on. It wasn't like he said anything that was like, he's like, I can't believe you said that. He told a story about like his high school, and that's all she needed. It was straight bullying from that point on.
Like, what did he say?
Straight bullying. Like, he told a story because he went to all boys school. And he told a story about one of the crazy guys in his school talking about like they were having like the gayest conversation with the honest truth. Because it's high school boys. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna censor this. Like, I can't. No, I'm not gonna censor shit. Who am I? I'm me. They were talking about like masturbation's not gay, but if it's sucking dick is gay. They were trying to debate if you sucked your own dick, would that make you gay?
I've actually had this conversation too.
I can imagine because you're all high school boys.
Yeah.
But you know the difference is we don't say it to family.
No, that's something you keep between boys. Like you can't expose
I'm
that.
sure at a certain point, I don't think I've had this. In my memory, I never had this conversation. But if I did, you won't ever know. But he had this conversation in high school, and his friend was like, "How about we all just go home and try it, and then we'll compare notes."
What?
That's what his friend said. I know who the friend is. I'm not gonna out his friend like that, but that's what. And then as soon as he said that, so she's like, literally from that, my cousin, or my sister-in-law literally went like, "So you tried sucking on dick that day, huh?" It's crazy. He's like, "I don't know if we can," and she was like, "I don't know if we can share the same fork anymore. We might have to put your stuff to the side."
Why would
that's your glass? Maybe. Remember that glass? That's yours. Don't touch anything else in this house.
Why would he admit to, like what? I would take.
He didn't know it.
I would take that to the grave.
He didn't try it. He's adamant he did not try it, but it's just a story. He just tells the story because it's crazy and it's funny. Technically, it's funny.
Yeah, but still, like.
But since you're part of the story, you're gonna get made fun of because you're part of the story. It doesn't matter if you didn't do it.
You brought it up. That's all you need.
Yes. So at that point, it was already off and flying then. It was all jokes then. And my bro, I'm just gonna say his name. James is very brolic. He's very muscular. We did track and field together.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the 6-pack. He's very proud of his physique to the point that if he gets drunk, he'll lose his shirt sometime in the middle of the night. I don't know where. I just don't know how. We'll find it again.
Comes off.
Doesn't matter. It just magically comes off.
Okay.
If there's drinks and parties somewhere, I will lose him and I'll find him again shirtless. Don't know how. It just is the way it works.
That's how it is.
Yep. So he's got his muscle. He's got his track and field fatigue, as you see regular track and field athletes.
Right.
He was on the phone in the tank top because like it was like night time, so we're all getting ready to go to sleep. He's got his phone. He's on the phone with his tank top.
Uh-huh.
And he has a bonnet on. That was enough for my brother because he has dreads.
Ah, okay.
So respectfully, it makes sense to have
yes,
I'm
it
not
does.
to us, not the older generation.
Yeah, that's true.
My brother is not that old. Well, he's old compared to us.
He's older, yeah.
Yeah, he's old. I'm saying old because I think he's in his late 30s to 40. So I don't really know. I'm not going to judge his age because I don't care enough. I just know he's old. He's just older than me, and I know he's in his 30s.
Okay.
To 40s. So he's technically the older generation before us. So this is the time where men didn't wear bonnets. So here comes Mr. Slim Thick TikTok tank top with a bonnet on for his dreads. That's all my brother needed. And he got home from work. He saw it. He didn't even get home. He got home from work. He ate dinner. We all ate dinner. We ordered food. He saw it that night. The next day, straight jokes.
I mean,
Just
I
straight.
feel like that's like kind of like a rite of passage when it comes to. I feel like, I mean, I don't know about like black families, but like in Hispanic families, that's also the case. Where if you see something, you gotta cut ass. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like you gotta make jokes.
It's the black households, Hispanic households, hopefully even Asian households too. I've been welcomed to many homes just straight on jokes. Also the Italian household.
Oh well, yeah, no, that's
every friend house I've been to, their family members like, oh, say Sean, welcome to back home. Go into the fridge, get whatever you want. I am everyone's son apparently.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's best to like have that relationship because like that's also the thing. Like you don't want to just like bully and joke on and just anybody. Like I feel like I said, it's a rite of passage. Like if you are being joked upon, you're like accepted.
Yeah, that means they like you.
Yeah, exactly.
I told her, I was like, you should be happy. That means you're part of the family.
Yeah, they feel comfortable enough that they can just make fun of you.
So if you go to North Carolina by yourself, you can just call them up and be like, hey, can I stay here for a few days? And they'll get the bed ready.
Yeah, while making fun of you.
and still making fun of you, probably for being stranded.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, because it's just the way we work.
It is.
And it only gets worse. Like, I don't know if we ever told this story, but I remember when Jason first went to my parents' place, because when we first met, I was still living with my parents. Mm-hmm. He walks into the house. He's like, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Jason. I'm the one who taught your son, I trained your son in Target. Like, I told him how to do his job. My mother goes like, want a fucking cookie, nigga? Like, what you want? Congratulations.
I remember hearing this, but it's just the fact that he thought he was so proud of being like, oh, I taught your son everything he knows at Target. It's like, I don't fucking care.
She gave no fucks. I can't go. Look, everyone in my household knows. Every one of my friends that's been to my house knows one thing. Like, it is what it is. Like, just don't say too much.
Yeah, no, you gotta keep.
It will get on you.
You gotta keep some things close to your chest, because.
No, we're just gonna talk about my family's episode because it's just funny. Also, James has the best. I think James has the best interaction with my grandmother, because my grandmother is also crazy.
Really?
Like she's crazy to the point that gangsters in the Bronx are afraid of my grandmother to this day.
Okay.
Like legit, I kid you not. I think my father told me this story that like she was walking down the street struggling with like a purse. And like some guys are like, oh, we can take that purse. And one of the guys looked over there and said, nah, don't do it.
Damn, she got ripped like that?
And he's like, what you mean don't do it? He's like, nah, don't do it. That's Miss Feeney. Don't do it. It's not worth the pain.
Damn.
It's like, you want to live for another week? Don't do it. But my favorite thing, I think we were going to a sports dinner in college. Because we were getting rewards. And James, my family's gonna drive us.
Yeah.
So I'm getting dressed because we have to come in like business.
Yeah, like dress up,
not fully dressed up. Like you don't need a full suit, but you gotta be a nice button up and some stuff.
Okay.
Like So we're going to this, and James comes in, and his button up is like wrinkled.
Oh.
Yo, the quickness, the switch on my grandma was hilarious. Cause she was like, okay, we can wear this because I'm getting help putting it together. My grandmother turns and looks at James. She's like, what the fuck is this, James? Take that shirt off right now. Take it off. Don't you ever come back in my house with this wrinkled shirt. If not, I will shoot you right now.
Damn.
And I was like, and then James took off the shirt and looked at me, and I was like, what you want? She wants to shoot you. I'm not trying to die.
It's like,
I was like, I don't know what you want from me.
It's like, don't play with her. Just do what she says. That's it.
When my grandma goes crazy on people, they all looked at me, and I'm like, what you want me to say?
Right? What I'm going to do?
Like, I live here. I live here.
I live here because of her.
Like, I understand that, like, if I step up to defend you, I don't have a home.
Exactly.
I don't live past the year I make it today.
Oh, man.
I like living. I like enjoying my time.
Respect the elders.
Sorry, elders, don't die in my household. My nephew learned that really fast.
Yeah.
He was talking crazy because I was there. So he had mad energy because he hasn't seen me in a while. So like when kids get mad energy, they just start saying stuff.
Yes, I know.
And like he said something to my brother. The quickness, my brother's like, what the fuck? My brother went like, what you say to me? And he went, no, I was talking about Deadpool. And like ran up the stairs. I was like, you want to
That
die.
reminds me of this TikTok that I saw. This guy, I'm assuming it's either his son or his nephew, some like little kid that's related to him. He was like leaving, and the kid was like, because he was in the car, he was recording, and the kid goes up to me, he says, fuck you. And then he's like, excuse me? He said, no, not you. Like, where are you going? Like, he tried to switch up. Like, no, but where are you going? Don't leave. And like everybody in the comments is just like, he said what he was thinking. I'm just like, yo, kids, they don't have a filter sometimes. They just say it.
Oh, if I have a child that may say that to me, just prepare their funeral because they ain't making it.
That's it. You lived a long life, apparently.
I've said this like multiple times, but I don't mind taking a plea deal for murder.
Damn. It's like that.
I do not care.
I would not tolerate that at all either. But still, it was just the fact that he said that the little kid said what, like, that's what he was thinking because he was leaving. He's like, yo, fuck you. Like, how do you...
That's a death. You were just trying to die.
Right? You have to choose. Not let those intrusive thoughts get the better of you.
I'm friends with my demons. My demons aren't that stupid though. My demons see things and like, that don't look right.
No. But
that's I want you to know that's my favorite compliment that my friend has ever given me.
What, that you're in control of your demons?
We would talk about something. I was like, we can't let the demons win. And my friend goes like, Tishon, your demons have tea parties. You're fucking demons. Like, it's like the worst part is like you are the real demon of yourself. Like, I hate you. I was
Damn.
I don't know what you mean by that. That's
right?
So unnecessary.
That's kind of like an insult, low key.
It was an insult, but it was hilarious. It's only hilarious because like because the tattoos that we have as a group is I'm the angel of the group and I'm the nice one of my family. You remember this?
Yeah, I know you did say that before. So,
but I'm the demon.
Wow.
I just embrace chaos. I'm a chaotic person.
I can agree with that.
I am lawful. I was
gonna say, yeah, exactly. Lawful chaotic.
I'm chaotic. I'm lawful to a point, but chaotic to it as well.
That's the best way to put it.
The only way it's gonna be put. If it breaks, y'all should all be in trouble. Y'all should be afraid.
So let's wrap this up. You wanna take us out, Tay?
Sure.
You have to think about it.
I had to. Thank you for coming and listening to the stupidity that me and producer Jay do.
We had nothing planned today, just for the record.
I don't do plans. We all know this. The only time we have a topic is because Brother Jay wants to do one. If it's up to me, we do this for an hour.
Exactly.
Talk forever. As you can see below, Producer Jay, based on what I'm looking at, those are things from our Instagram to excuse_me_brother with an A because it's not racist. On TikTok to excuse me brother, which is racist because that's ER, and then our Facebook, which is excuse space me space brother with the ER because also it's racist, like Tennessee. Well, you didn't hear about that?
Oh yeah, I
tell you
did actually. I know what you're talking about.
I gotta get one sneak one in to make people mad.
Gotta get a little bit political. Just a little.
I gotta tease it because I'm all for political. I want everyone to be politically. I'm all for being right. But I'm also for the people. And if you're going against the people, you suck. All right, and please subscribe, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel to Excuse Me Brother. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I've been Brother Tay.
I'm Producer Jay.
Alongside. That's right. Have a good
Peace.
night. Stay safe. And if I don't see you, bye.